Good morning. Good morning. What is going on, chat? Welcome back to another live stream. If you are new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Before we get started, make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading's risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing you see or hear is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. I'm just an idiot here yapping on YouTube for entertainment purposes only. Read the full disclaimer, do your own research, make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like Top 1 Futures, code RDF. I can't stand to be unbiased if I stand to make money. We got an awesome day today. We got another special guest joining us. Jen Ketter is about to be brought on. I have an account to give away for you guys that are on here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hang tight with me. I'll say it once early on. Form drops, random time on the stream. Nobody scream at me in the chat. If you guys have questions, ask away. Let's go ahead and bring in Jen. Good morning, Jen. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. How are you? Doing great.
Good. Awesome. Let me swap over to this screen. We are taking a look. Markets are open. I'm in a interesting spot this morning, chat. I usually do some analysis, Jen, coming off the daily, but wanted to share with the chat. I didn't take a trade while I'm on here live with you guys. I'm usually starting with a $0 balance. I had a trash day yesterday. Traded the overnight session, which I hardly ever do, and put myself into some profit, but we're still looking for a trade. So let me just take a quick look. Coming off the daily real quick, just to get you guys comfortable coming into this 9:30 open. Interesting structure, pretty bullish. Getting ready to crack above the overnight high. We're opening up with a push above prior day high. This is looking really, really strong. It was a strong day yesterday once we really started to move to the upside, and it's looking fairly strong today. We've got some 10 a.m. news. But outside of that, choppy overnight session, sell-off on some of this 8:15 news. We had red folder and then really immediately recovered right back up to the highs. So I like to hang out for the first 15 minutes of the session, not jump into anything too quick, but this is looking really strong. I'm going to watch to see if we start to break out. Might not provide too much opportunity, but we'll have to see how this one rolls. So Jen, what do you trade? What are you looking at this morning?
So I trade NQ, only NQ. It's all I've ever traded, actually. Nice. I think you're an ES guy, right?
I am ES only. Yeah,
I can't tell you how many people have been in my DMs being like, you got to try ES. And I'm like, but when I look at it, it feels like it's frozen on the screen compared to NQ.
No, that's definitely the case. It's like everybody always says if you're coming from NQ to ES, it's like watching paint dry. Like it moves like super, super slow.
Totally.
So I've had a couple guests on, been going back and forth, and also if you're getting ready to get into a trade, get anything, feel free to call it out and just ignore the commentary. But if you trade NQ, do you watch other markets? Do you keep your eye on ES, or are you strictly NQ the way I am with strictly ES?
Yeah, so I in the past few months started being mentored by Andy. So I use his strategy and his approach, which includes watching both. He actually trades both. He does options with SPY, and then, which obviously moves the same as ES. And then, sorry, trying to pay attention right here.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's like I've had guys come on the stream that are similar to me, where they are strictly, here we go, cracking out to the upside here, strictly watching one market, kind of the way that I am with ES. And then I've had the opposite, where I had like Tanner on, who watches like I think like your mentor, SPY, QQQ, ES, YM, NQ all at the same time. He's got like this big screen set up. But it's just interesting. I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. I just think whatever works best for you, whatever information you can process.
Yeah, so sorry, I got distracted because we had pushed over my original entry target. But so I worked with a bunch of different strategies, like everyone, when I first started. And so I feel like I can't unsee certain things. So like today, there's a supply zone right over that overnight high.
Mm-hmm.
That is just like, for me, I'll still mark it on my chart. And I had an entry target that we cracked over like right in that first 5 minute candle, which I don't trade the 5 minute candle typically, the first 5 minute candle, sorry.
Yep.
But I was hesitant to enter just because I know that there's a chance I think we could reject here with the overnight highs and the supply zone that's right there.
Yep.
But what I was going to say is that the way that Andrew does things is he uses a lot of confluence by watching actually some of the other tickers that make up the indices. Mm-hmm. So I have 8 different things I'm watching on my screen.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, and looking for very specific things with some other tickers to happen for me to enter a trade. So one of the things I like, it's a very, very black and white, like either the trade is there or it's not.
Nice.
But it can be when you're learning a little bit, like I have to be very focused.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Again, I don't think there's any wrong way to do it. I see traders go on both sides of that spectrum, but it sounds like you're in that camp where you're watching a lot. You're watching the underlying assets for the indices that you're trading. And I think like for me, I'm watching bookmap over on the side, right? So I'm trying to read order flow. I'm trying to pay attention to some more information. Maybe if I was going to watch a whole bunch of other assets, I'd want to like, condense some of that because it just becomes too much. But no, it's always interesting to hear. I've tried in the past quite a bit. I've tried to watch other markets, and I find myself trading like the NQ chart on ES or vice versa. So you were watching this push to the upside. I'm watching it as well. I'm watching us come into the 6,000s here on ES. We've got quite a bit on the book, right above overnight high. I'm tempted short on this. Would you be looking long or short as we're coming into this area on NQ?
Honestly, it just depends. So I'm looking at my levels on the other tickers I'm watching, and ultimately, like, there's a lot of contradiction happening. So some of them are pushing up, some of them are chopping, some of them are rejecting. So I definitely wouldn't be looking to enter a long right now. Or I would not be surprised if we reject here, though, especially with the recent highs above. And the supply zone, we're kind of sweeping that overnight high and slowing down right now. Yep. So if we get a rejection here, I would be looking to short, but I wouldn't be looking to enter a short until closer to like 21,700. So back below the opening print for me.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't be getting short.
Gotcha. Nice analysis. Chat, what's going on? Good morning, everybody. We got a ton of people in here. All you guys and your crazy YouTube names. Good morning. Ralph asks, what are some of the things that you watch for? He said, what are the 8 things you watch for? You don't have to rattle them all off, but it sounded like some of the underlying assets for NQ, right?
Exactly.
The Mag 7, the big stocks.
Yeah, so I can tell you what I look at. I'm not going to tell you what I'm looking for specifically to happen on those. But I'm looking at Nvidia, Microsoft, AVGO, Apple, Amazon, and then I actually have Tesla on the screen too, which we kind of joke is like the the ugly stepsister. Like, doesn't have that much of an impact on what's going to happen, but it's just nice to see. Yeah, so those are the other assets I'm looking at as I'm watching for my setup on NQ. So nice. It's not uncommon for my setup to happen, but my confluence, those other tickers are not doing what I need them to do, and so to me that tells me, okay, like, wait.
Yeah, just hang tight. No, it's a common one. I think you do see a lot of traders do that. Here we go, right back up to the 6,000. So I'm going to frame a trade idea while we're watching this, guys. We have quite a bit of liquidity sitting here on bookmap. I'm not going to switch screens just because I'm going to look for a short here. We got quite a bit up at the big round psychological number 6,000 on this ES contract. I could see similar trade that you guys watched me take off the open. We're a little bit early for me, being 9:41 a.m. Eastern. Um, I'd like a short back towards VWAP, back towards the kind of the middle ground of this chop, this overnight session, near like the low 80s. I definitely wouldn't need it to run that far to get risk structured well. But this is a dicey one. We've been hammering against these highs. We're above overnight high, above prior day high. Here we go, coming into it. So it's really counter. We're cracking outside of this area that we tested multiple times, right for this overnight high, this 59.96 and 3/4. So I could definitely get my face ripped off on this, but I'm going to look for it. I'm probably going to look for it with one mini, 10-point stop, something along those lines, maybe a little bit wider. Again, I'm in an interesting spot where I've got some profit coming into this morning session, which I almost never do. But I'm definitely not going to short it if we can't clear this liquidity right here. Let me actually try to show bookmap real quick. Yeah, so here's let's see. At the stage. Nice. Here's what I'm looking at on my favorite order flow tool, bookmap. Can we see this? Yeah, I think we can. Yeah, we also have 10 a.m. news. Good reminder. Somebody just threw that in the chat. So yeah, guys, here's what I'm looking at. It's not 9:45 a.m. news. No, 10 a.m. news. Oh, we do have 9:45. We got something 9:45 as well. Hang on. I wonder why. Oh no, final manufacturing's PMI in about a minute. Some of the liquidity looked like was coming off the book, but we have ISM services PMI red folder at 10 a.m. So as we're selling off from this level that I didn't get my entry on, was looking for the 6,000 to clear right here, guys. So like 180 on the book at about 59.99, 6,000 on the book right above. Sometimes I'll front run it, but on a day like today where we're looking so bullish and really sitting right into that area, I'd want to see that clear and then some kind of rejection, some sellers to step back in and aggressively start to take this thing lower. Looks like the idea is about to get invalidated because we're pulling off back towards VWAP. But that's kind of looking at bookmap, looking at order flow for this one. Interested to see where we go from here. We come all the way back down to VWAP and hang out there. Probably going to be waiting for news for me, but this would have been the first aggressive short. Pulling up above, overnight high, clearing this level right here, and then a really aggressive short to the downside. But I might be stuck waiting now. Back down to the low 90s in ES. So let me throw my main screen back up. Yeah, so how about red folder news for you, Jen? Do you try to stay out of high impact news events? Do you trade right through it? Where do you stand in that camp? I know these are like hot button topics where people are usually like, no way, or yeah, send it. We'll go for it.
The only way I'm in a trade when there's red folder news is if I've already been in the trade for a while and I'm far in profit. I'll usually take part of my position off and then move my stops to break even and just see if I can capture, a big pump from it. But yeah, no, I don't mess with that.
Nice.
Been burned too many times,
Gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting. I find myself either trying to avoid it completely or just say I'll trade right through it. But I like that approach where if you're in profit, stops maybe at break even, you've taken partials, you just let that last part run. Maybe capture that last jump towards take profit. I like that. Yeah, man. Well, this one's going to be dicey. I'm watching this one, and here's why I'm asking, right? Here's the decision. We got 13 and a half minutes or so to red folder news. I'm getting a short setup here. I'm going to look at it with like a half risk type deal. Again, being in profit makes me a little bit more comfortable to take a trade. I don't mind giving some of this back, but yeah, this is going to be tough because it begs the question, like, do I think the trade idea is going to play out in the next 15 minutes or less than 15 minutes? Do I want to hold through red folder news? That's not a crazy one, typically not a crazy one. Like it's not NFP, it's not
right.
Unemployment, it's not like Jerome Powell speaking, but you never know how volatile it's really going to be until it happens. So This one's going to be interesting, but I'm watching short on this one. If we can clear this liquidity and maybe just kind of hesitate for a second, I'd look for a really aggressive entry on the way up.
Mm.
And that would kind of be my basic, just basic sweeping of some structural levels, right?
Yeah.
Taking some liquidity from the book and maybe just a quick pullback to VWAP, where even if we're going to blast off on the day, I think we come back and retest, volume weighted average price. That's the basics of my approach for these morning trades. If we're opening up to the downside, I think we're likely to at least pull back or just revert, turn into a choppy day, maybe go the other direction. But even if we're going to continue selling off, for example, I think we come back up to VWAP. It doesn't look like we want to do it on this one.
Yeah. I might look to enter a long if we can break above and get a close above the 15-minute opening range.
Nice.
And close on a lower time frame, like a 1 minute or a 2 minute. And then push up from there above 21,800. I might look to take a long targeting the recent highs from a few days ago. I have them marked out at 21,860.
Awesome. So, yeah, no, I like it. Again, I think everything is looking really bullish, higher time frame down to lower time frame where we're breaking to the upside here. I'm looking really counter on it. Do you usually find yourself taking more continuation, like with the trend from higher to lower time frames?
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a trend trader, breakout trader, for sure. I will take a reversal on occasion, but I use EMAs also as part of my confluence. So I have the 9, the 50, and the 20 on my chart.
Okay.
And I won't take a short if price is above those EMAs, specifically the 9 and the 20. We're getting that little push up. Let's see if we can.
I like this, Jen. Where I think we might be. I think we might be taking opposite positions here.
Really?
Which is actually cool. We happened last week. Randy was on. I don't want to distract you, so when you're ready.
No, you're good. You're good. Keep talking.
Yeah, Randy was on. He was short ES, and I was getting long while he was still short. He had closed out of some positions. We both ended up making money, and it's just kind of this like constant demonstration that there's more than one way to do it. There's more than one way to read the market. For every buyer, there's a seller, but as long as you follow your system, follow your approach, you can come out on top in the long run.
Sure.
Yeah. So absolutely. I like it to the upside for you on NQ. For me on ES, maybe I'm going to go for this rejection past the 6,000s, but yeah, this one's. Go ahead.
Would you ever flip and look for a long if that doesn't play out?
For me though, it would be really aggressive on a pullback. The way that I'm trading ES here, I'm running I would consider a fairly tight stop, around a 10-point stop. I'd adjust if it was much less volatility than what we've been seeing recently, although I've been pretty consistent with that.
Mm-hmm.
But for a continuation type trade, like if I was taking a breakout to the upside, I wouldn't be super comfortable with a stop, really tight right here at VWAP or around VWAP, right? Because I just view this as trade idea for long is really not invalidated if we pull something like that, right? Like I would still say, hey, that looked clean. We were pushing to the upside. We pulled back down, tested VWAP, which we know happens often, maybe even lower to this like temporary volume point of control, looking at the volume profile, and then continue the upside. So the way that I'm trading ES these days on the mini chart, just bigger size, tighter stop, I have to have a really aggressive entry. That usually means it's a counter trend type trade, or right off of a level, or a sweep of a level, looking for a movement back to like the mean, right, or the most recent area of high volume where price has been consolidating. If I was going to go for a continuation, it would probably be pulling all the way back down, maybe kind of taking everybody out that was getting long up here right now, and then rejecting really harshly, showing a lot of buying strength, and then maybe look for a way in there. Below, with a stop like below a session low. Where are we at over here? Yeah, we've got the opening low right here around the 87s. I'd want to be below that for an entry.
Yeah, looks like your short might play out.
Yeah, again, just didn't give me everything I needed. Looks like it's gonna be that. I mean, that's playing out for me, right there, all the way back to prior day high. If I took it that
Hmm.
aggressively, but I'm not going to. The way that I use order flow and bookmap, very very simple, pattern recognition. If there's a big stack of orders up above price or down below price, I want to see that get filled if I'm waiting for an entry, and
Hmm.
then not just take off and run to the upside. Maybe just kind of hesitate, print a big wick on a 1 minute candle, not give it a lot of time, but then take the entry to the downside.
Definitely.
You
Yeah.
know, and entering right here, it's just I could see that cracking really quickly up to like the 605s, just right through that, even if we're going to pull back. So kind of want to wait for that to happen, but it looks like we might just consolidate. This is really back and forth up here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at my confluence, and so like I'm sure you know, Nvidia and Apple are the two biggest heavy hitters percentage wise in the NASDAQ, and they're going opposite directions. Nvidia is breaking out right now to the downside below its pre-market levels, and Apple's breaking up to the upside. And so for me, that's not looking good.
Not good. Yeah, you
It's
like
not looking like there's going to be a trade anytime soon, at least. So
gotcha.
just
You
hanging
would
out.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. You'd like obviously nice clean confluence across all of those, showing strength, right? Higher highs, higher lows, that type of deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's
I want to see everything kind of moving synergistically. Just because it gives me a lot higher confidence trade, right? It doesn't mean that if I were to just look at the NASDAQ and take my setup based off my levels and, my EMAs and things like that, that it won't play out. But I'm
yeah.
just looking for that extra vote of confidence to have that really high win rate, and also to be able to capture a good move. When things line up, it's really incredible to see. It's typically the days that you see those 100, 150 point, 200 point moves that are just like beautiful trend days. That's
Yep.
what I like to see. Doesn't mean I won't take a scalp. I'll also size down sometimes if like a few of them are lining up, but one or two are off. Size down, take a swing at it.
Nice. So
But
yeah, we got a couple questions in the chat. We got a bunch of women traders in here today. What's up, Kim? What's up, Brenda? What's going on? I think a handful from my community, maybe some new ones. Um, Brenda had asked, Jen, maybe I missed. What's your ideal trade setup? A plus look like. Love to see us girls killing it in trading. I think she was just describing that, but maybe you could give us just a little bit of a run through of what you would see to take like something like this long. What I'm interested in is everybody always also has just different trade management, right? Do you scale out in profit? Do you go stop to break even quickly or at a certain point? What does that usually look like for you?
yeah, I am actually trade management is one thing I'm working really hard to improve right now because I historically have struggled with the typical cutting my winners early and letting my losers run
Sure.
that all the newbies do. Um, and I think that for me, I can't go too far into detail, honestly, with like my A plus plus setup because that's not my sauce to share. It's my mentors, and if
Sure.
anyone's interested in learning from him or learning more about that, give me a follow on Instagram, shoot me a DM, and I can kind of tell you a little bit more about like how I got connected with him and his way of doing things. But essentially, it's levels first, so support and resistance levels. I'm going through every day and drawing out levels from the daily, the hourly, and then the 5 minute. My entries are typically based off the 5 minute. So right before the market opens, I'll put my entry targets um, based off of levels, and then I use the EMAs as I mentioned. So, I'm not touching a short if the NASDAQ is sitting above and holding above the EMAs that I have. Because those can also act as resistance levels, similar to like, I'm sure how a lot of you guys use VWAP. It's just a point that gives me a little extra confluence, but it's not how I formulate my entries per se.
Yep.
It's just a rule, I would say. It's more of a rule. Like right now, we're starting to push down. We just got a close below on the last 5-minute candle, below that 9 EMA. So now I'm thinking, okay, if I can see price move down and we can get a close below the 50 and the opening print, which that's actually something I do that my mentor does not. I use the opening print and I use the 15-minute opening range for confluence as well. But if we can get that close below the 50 and the opening print, which happen to be a few points away from each other, and then continuation, I would potentially look for a short if my confluence is also all lined up. So the thing that I love about this strategy compared to many of the other ones is that when I enter trades, I just have very, very, very high confidence. I don't like things that are subjective. I like things that are, black and white. And if I tell you the rules of my strategy, you could take them and get the exact same entries.
Awesome. Really clear cut, right? Really defined rules for entry. That's
Yes.
awesome. That's awesome. No, that was an apt description of what you're looking for on the chart here, for sure. Once you're in a trade, the trade management style, stops to break even, scaling out, adding in, a mix.
It's a rule for me to never add in.
Okay.
Got burned too many times with that.
Same, me too.
Yeah, I mean, even a lot of times, some of my best trades in the last handful of weeks, I'm catching 50, 100. I think one I caught 140 points on. So I'm looking for bigger moves typically, but I'm really I do trim, I scale out. And after my first trim, I always move my stop to break even.
Okay.
That's also screwed me quite a few times. So that's why I'm trying to work on when I take my first trim. Because what I've found is that I tend to take my first trim a little prematurely, and then I don't have enough room for price to move because NQ whips back and forth so quickly that oftentimes I'll trim, stopped at break even, and then it'll run. So then sometimes I'll enter again, but that's not ideal, right? So, typically if I enter a trade, I'm looking to trim. I want to wait till I hit 20 points. That's kind of more ideal, 20 to 25 points, and take my first trim. But like I said, I've been struggling to
listen,
to follow that.
No, it's funny that we're talking about it because and just guys, real quick, we're 30 seconds to red folder news. It's 9:59 a.m. Eastern. Got about 30 seconds to that red folder news event. It's not a crazy one, but I would expect some volatility coming up if you are trading it. But we're gonna watch this one print. I'm not gonna jump into anything right on this news candle. I want to see if we head right back down to VWAP, or if we do take this liquidity that's sitting up there, still on the book, right above price, right at the 6,000. So here we go into it. But yeah, I want to come back to that because, big selling pressure.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, there's my trade idea playing out to the downside.
I know.
But yeah, no, gotta wait for the entry. We'll see if we get follow through on that. That's a lot of volume on that one. Wow.
Yeah, I was actually really tempted. It's so against my rules, but I was tempted to jump in the short right before that because we had a 3-bar setting up on the 5-minute to the downside, a bear flag on the 2-minute, and
I was looking
a trend line break on the 5-minute as well.
Yeah, this is interesting. This is going to set up some interesting structure here. I got to see if we head right back towards these highs, which is going to make it difficult to structure risk, right? Because now we're going to have in ES, that's not terrible, 15 points to the lows of this. But let's kind of see how this develops. But yeah, no, on that conversation, I'm doing the same where I'm looking to improve my trade management. I think it's one of the most difficult things to do, and it is so important. What you do after you get into the trade is equal to, if not more important, than what you do before you put the trade on, right? And just smash the button. So I'm always interested to hear. But yeah, the debate between stop loss to break even, scaling out, holding a runner, all of that type of stuff. But it's definitely one area. I'm very discretionary with my trading, but it's definitely one area that I've gotten more mechanical, more systematic. I'm running something that's really, really clear cut, because I do believe discretion is good up to a degree if it's written in. Using your intuition, using your experience on the charts, I found a lot of growth there. I started to really gain some traction once I allowed for that. But it can go too far the other way, and we're too flexible, and we're doing something different on every single trade. And on one day we go stop to break even, where we're stop to break even, then it runs. The next day we don't go stop to break even, it stops us out. When we had plenty
Yeah.
of time to cut it. So I think consistency is important with trade management. I'm becoming more of a believer in that. But man, if there's one area that I think everybody can continue to improve on and maybe even adapt as the market kind of shifts a little bit or just fine tune for themselves, it's trade management. So it's tough. It continues to be tough. Again, for me, it's an area that I'm fine tuning myself. I'm doing something really, really mechanical on. But I'm sure everybody listening can agree that trade management is a tricky spot. There's more than one way to do it, and we're never going to be perfect every single day, right? We don't know if it's going to be the blast off trend day. We don't know if it's going to chop, and I think the goal is to try to find something that works best in the long run and that we're comfortable with, that just fits our strategy and our approach.
Yeah, I agree. I agree absolutely. I think that um, for me, I just have also had to be just really gracious with myself and remember, like, I'm only 1 year into trading, and in fact, the first 6 to 8 months of that, I was doing the silliest, like, 1 second line chart strategy. So I'm only like, I don't know, 6 months into using candlesticks. Like, I'm still very, very new. And so I'm like a perfectionist, and I beat myself up a lot when I'm not
No, you're you're
doing.
de- you're definitely early in, and yet you have to be patient with it. This
Yeah.
yeah, this stuff is tough, and I think a lot does come with experience. But to be where you're at a year in is crazy. That's awesome. Um,
Thank
but
you.
yeah, for sure. Chat, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask away. We got some comments. Trade management's key. We love top one. Yes, we all love top one. If you guys want to check out top one futures, link is pinned in the chat. We do have a giveaway coming out. We got a bunch of people on. What's going on, everybody? We have a giveaway coming up in a little bit. I'm going to make you guys hang out for a little bit longer, but we got a form that will drop in the chat. No purchase necessary. You fill it out, you have a chance to win a 50K straight to funded account from Top One right here, right now on this stream. That's what we're looking at on my screen here, guys. This is Top One with Project X. I've got 350K instant funded accounts. I'm still sitting no trade. Jen is also no trade. We just got through some news. Came to this stream with quite a bit of profit on these for me. What I look for a decent day. But watching this market start to chop lower. And anyway, if you're hanging out on here, smash like, smash subscribe. You know the drill for getting that form to drop. We got to get a whole lot of likes in here. So if you want to start getting a head start, guys, I got 33 on right now. Feel free. There's 70 of you on the stream right now. Smash the like button, man. We'll get closer and closer to that giveaway. So yeah, here we go through VWAP. This is interesting. This is interesting. Like, bias wise, I try to be fairly unbiased. I could still see this moving to the upside, going to crack the 6,000s in ES and being a nice bullish day. If I just drop back to the daily to take a look at it, which I like to do every once in a while, like really high time frame view, this is looking very strong. I could certainly see a pullback. We test this area that we wicked above really aggressively and failed and came back down in. We obviously have a line in the sand here that's been challenged a couple times, but we're failing to get above. So I liked the short here for this initial rejection. Just didn't get it. Didn't get my entry with the 6,000s liquidity being filled, big round psychological number getting tapped. Here we are back at VWAP. I'm in a wait and see type of mode here. I wouldn't mind a long if we really aggressively continue to pull back on this. It would be, looking for some continuation of that higher time frame trend, but this is weak through VWAP. We swept through, pulled all the way back up. Now we're continuing lower. Let's take a look on bookmap for this one. 75s, yeah, overnight low, maybe. Again, kind of this would be for me, guys. This would be the same play. Really just a reversion style trade back towards VWAP. Anticipating that we don't just break and run through the 75s here on ES, where we have overnight low and we have about 140. Well, we got like 250 on the book. Down here below overnight low. So I would try something aggressively long, kind of the same idea, just opposite. I actually almost like the longs better today, just looking at higher time frames, kind of what we've been doing, rather than shorting the push to the upside as we're hammering into two highs. But this is some interesting structure that we're getting. Now, Jen, you were looking short through those EMAs. If we were starting to get down below on NQ, would you continue to look short?
Yeah, I mean, so I had an entry target right around 690, which we just passed, 21,690. But I still just am not, I don't have the green light with my confluence. So I'm, especially with Apple and Nvidia going in complete opposite directions, Nvidia is melting down and Apple's still continuing to grind up.
Mm-hmm.
And we also are coming up to those overnight lows. I didn't love the amount of space and the risk to reward for me to enter. Thinking that, there's one of these could start really pushing, and like if Apple starts really opening up to the upside. Oh, there we go. We hit what would have been my first PT. So that's great. Love when that happens.
No, it's a mixed bag, right? It's like the trade idea works out, so you feel good about it, but you're like, oh, there's money that we didn't put in the account.
Yeah, but how mad would I have been if I took a trade against my plan and it didn't work out? Much more frustrated than I feel missing out on something. So
100%. And it's really not a missed trade, right? I used to say that I missed a trade here, I missed a trade there. But if there's no real entry, right? If there's no, like I'm watching this one melt, right? Really close off of the 59.99s, like a couple ticks away where I would have entered. But it's not a missed entry for me because I didn't get the setup, right? It was close, but I didn't get everything I needed, the confluence, the conviction, whatever we want to call my discretionary entry. So,
exactly.
And again, like that's the great question to ask. If I took that and I took that first loss, how would I feel then? Not happy at all, right? So then it's don't put risk on. So yeah, for me, I'm still watching this thing. I'm looking aggressively long off of this low, but I'm not getting an entry again. No sweep below overnight low. Here's the bounce. Yeah, I've had a handful of these sessions where I get real close, but I don't find the level that I need to be hit actually being hit.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, if we pulled back here and tested either the bottom of that 15-minute range or all the way back up to opening print, which they're pretty close today. They're about 10 points apart. And then my confluence lined up, I would potentially look for another short entry to continue lower. But that was a pretty aggressive bounce on NQ. I mean, anytime I see a hammer on the 5-minute, like that bullish hammer that we just got bouncing off of a level like the overnight lows, I'm like really weary to try and take a trend trade. It's looking more like a reversal to me.
Yeah, this is some dicey structure. Tested the highs multiple times, sold off on news. We came through VWAP right towards overnight low, so damn close for a long back to VWAP, and now just reset my chart here, and now a really aggressive bounce back up. So this is going to become difficult for me to get an entry on. Right back to the middle ground. Yeah, what I was waiting on, I'll show you guys this on bookmap. We actually had buyers step in pretty aggressively right off that low, but we still have quite a bit right down below this overnight low. Ooh, man, all the way back up through VWAP on ES. This is interesting. Well, it's going to be a fun week. We got red folder news every week. We'll see how this makes out. Chat's doing okay. Ralph, news making it crazy. I agree. Kim got short ES, looking for 59.78. Take profit for 12 points. Very nice. Brenda was short NQ. Okay. Yeah, we'll see how this plays. This is pretty interesting. Immediate sell off, immediate bounce off of that overnight low level, or right close to that overnight low level, kind of right down where we consolidated, right back to VWAP and ES. Now, if we come through the highs or lows of this, I would attempt to look for maybe a continuation type trade. If we sold like aggressively back off through this low, I don't know that buyers can hold this thing up, and we don't start cracking to the downside. Here it is, a retest of VWAP, and we're starting to turn. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. And again, I'm like you, where if I don't have a setup, I don't have something, I'm not going to force a trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sit and wait patiently. Wait for the market to come to you. I've gotten caught way too many times, even recently, just in difficult, choppy conditions. Like we've had some tough New York sessions, some like what I would say exceptionally choppy New York sessions where we just drift back and forth with no clear direction, and we keep sweeping highs and lows. We don't really do anything, and just preserving capital on those days, I think, can be super super helpful.
Yeah. I found for myself too, just like my day job is being a mom, and that takes a lot of energy, and preserving my mental capital on those choppy days too. Like, is it really worth the couple $100, or whatever I'm going to potentially make on a setup on a choppy day? Because that's not really a day that is a super profitable day for me historically.
Yep.
Is it
Yep.
worth it to sit around, and try and find something, or is it better to just, say,
Move
hey,
on and spend some time with the
yeah, like
family, right? Just get off the
the chances
charts.
of things lining up aren't high. Do I want to sit around and try and make something work? And then if it doesn't work, like we were talking about, like then that influences my day too, with my kids and my husband and everything else, because I'm sitting there beating myself up like, Jen,
Yeah,
why
yeah.
did you take a trade? Like
No.
all the signs were saying don't trade today. Like, why are you taking a trade?
100%, 100%. There's nothing worse than that carrying into time that when once you're done with work, right? And I've been there so many times. My wife's like, "Why? I know you didn't trade well today. Like why are you so pissed off? Like storming around the house type of deal." But
Exactly.
it can be tough, and it usually comes from that, like knowing that we shouldn't be doing something, knowing we don't have a setup. Um, as I'm saying this, I'm getting close on a potential for continuation. So we rejected so harshly off of these lows. Um, I'm looking at this long with a stop below overnight low. I think this, if we start to break to the upside through VWAP here, on ES, this could continue. It's pretty choppy, pretty damn choppy so far. But this looks like bulls do not want to let this thing back down. And I think if we do come back down through those lows, I'm dead wrong, and we start to sell off really harshly.
Hmm.
So tempted to try this one. I'm watching what's happening here on order flow. We got some at the 59.82 and a half. Yeah, we might just blast from here. I'm gonna wait for a test of, if we get it, we might just start to take off. Wait for a test of these, just to sweep below this little area of consolidation right off of VWAP one more time, and then a continuation back up. Ooh, no, we might just get it right here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look and see. 15 points to get below this low. Yeah, because I like this back towards 6,000. That's sitting on the book.
Yeah. I'm actually liking the long potential, right? We're kind of in an
Order
interesting
filled.
spot for me. Is that you? You're in?
Yeah, I'm long on this one. I'm gonna get long one mini here. I'm gonna run this one wide, guys. But I like this. I like this aggressively long through VWAP. Yeah, here we go. We're starting to get a push. Um, I could see us coming back down through this low, coming to grab the 75s. But I think if we do that, if we turn from here, we're selling off. Or it's gonna be super choppy, or we're selling off.
Mm.
That's my speculation, right? I don't know anything. I'm an idiot. But I'm long back towards the 6,000s on this. No take profit. We're gonna watch this thing potentially try to come back through the 59.95s, where we've got 170 on the book up here. Um, 6,000 still quite a bit up there. If we have to come down through these lows, I'm out. Stop at 59.69 and a quarter. But I can't get short on it from up here again. I don't have a reason to do that. I like this long. Again, continuation, kind of different than what I'm doing, but running a wide stop on this one. Again, I'm in a different position than I usually am with a decent amount of profit coming into the trading session. So I don't mind putting an additional trade on. Still ending green, $500 across 3 accounts if I give this $1,000 back. But I think this is going to be the only opportunity. If this is going to be the sweep lower, sellers can't take it all the way down. Coming above VWAP now, not rejecting here. We tried to a couple times, then came right through. I like this long. So that's my play for management, just to kind of continue the idea. I want to see us get through the 95s and the 6,000s. I'm going to be really cautious up here. This is a big level to break through. So I would potentially be potentially watching what happens up here at the 6,000s. If we continue, if we don't reject really harshly like we're starting to do right now, back down to the downside. So that's my play. Might be my only trade that I get for today that I could see on this one. So that's it, chat. I'm long one mini, 59.89 and a quarter. Stop at 59.69 and a quarter. You know the drill. Smash like, smash subscribe. We got guest Jen Ketter on here. If you want to follow her, you want to check her out on socials. Big following on IG, by the way. That is her banner down at the bottom there. You guys want to check out Top 1. Link is in the chat. We're getting ready to drop a giveaway form coming up here pretty soon. You know the drill. Start to smash like. That is it. That is it. Start to smash like. Let's see. Chat says longs. Let's go long. Long America. I'm testing NQGPT. Yeah.
I might actually end up taking, if we can break below.
We're going to end up opposite? You're going to end up short?
Yeah.
I'm going to end up long on this one? Let's do it.
If we break back below like 21,695 and things do what I want them to do with my confluence without getting too specific. I don't know. I'm in an interesting spot. Yeah. I have an entry target for a long if we can get a close above my EMAs and continue at 21,735.
Sure.
And I would target, my first target would be the top of the fifth, like the high of day, top of that 15-minute range.
Gotcha.
But if we close below the bottom of the 15-minute range and opening print, and then we break that 21,695, I might go short.
Gotcha.
So we'll see.
I like it. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Again, this is kind of choppy so far. Like I don't love this structure. I think this is kind of difficult to work with this big wick to the downside. Again, for me, this is bullish. This is looking very bullish all the way from higher time frame to lower time frame. If I zoom way out, we've been pushing off these crazy tariff lows, bullish structure day over day. We're testing this multiple times to the upside. If I come all the way down on the 1 minute, we tapped against that area multiple times in pre-market. We came up, swept it, couldn't get above the 6,000s here. Sellers said, no way, took it all the way lower. Couldn't continue the downside, right? Here was the chance in my mind to break out. We didn't do that. Okay, is it going to be a retest of... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm in with you.
All right, we're looking long. Let's see. Yeah, for me, through VWAP, right? If we were going to reject here, we had an opportunity to come back down right here. Even to test this, can we sell out off from here really aggressively? Sure, absolutely. I think if we do that, it's going to be a bearish day. We're going to look to the downside. But so far, buyers just don't want to give this thing up. So I like it long. I like it long towards 6,000 on ES. Again, I think if we're going to chop, I still think we're going to come up here and grab this, fake everybody out one more time, and then maybe come back in. So I'm going to be cautious up here around the 6,000s if we get there, if we don't reject really harshly up above VWAP. But that's my play.
My entry was probably a little premature, to be honest, but
okay. We're long NQ, long ES. I'm gonna see how this one plays. Ralph's bullish. We got someone long YM. Yeah, we're gonna see. Again, it could be the too obvious of the trade, right? Like everybody is looking long, but I don't have a short entry on this, right? I took one yesterday and I took an L on the live, which happens all the time. I show the real stuff, wins, losses, break evens, everything in between. But it was after a really gnarly pullback and then continuation of the upside into the level that I was waiting for that didn't get tested beforehand. So I'm taking this thing long today, seeing if we can't get it. It's valid for me. I won't have a short entry up here. I won't have a long entry down here. The only thing that I could see later in the day, if I was taking a second trade, would be we sell off super, super aggressively. This one fails, and we get a lot of continuation to the downside. Maybe looking short on some pretty serious selling pressure. But so far, we're going to test longs. Awesome.
Yeah.
And chat, while we're waiting here, hanging out, I think you guys know what time it's about to be. Smash the like button. Let's see. I got to set a... so I do these giveaways on here. And I try to set the likes pretty high based on how many people we have on the stream. I'm going to make it easy for you guys. I'm not going to make it that easy. I'm going to go with 75. You got 70 people on the stream right now, guys. We've had 200 people that have cycled on and off. If everybody here smashed the like button, we will drop a giveaway form. Here it is. Share this tab. Giveaway is live. Form's not live just yet. Smash the like button. Giveaway is at 75 likes. That's the deal, guys. Once we drop this form, get it filled out. No purchase necessary. As I'm watching this market kind of start to drift lower, come back towards these 85s. But yeah, guys, get this one liked up, and we'll drop a form. Someone's going to win a straight-to-funded account from Top 1 Futures. You want to check them out. Link is pinned in the top of the chat. Code RDF gets you the best deals. Straight-to-funded on Project X. There you go. I'll throw it in the chat for you guys that aren't paying attention. How to enter the giveaway. Just mentioned it right there, guys. Smash the like button. Giveaway form will drop. Oh, you guys almost got it. We're climbing. 10 more likes. You guys will make it happen quick. So let's see. Back to the this is the fun part of trying to manage giveaways and live trade and do it all on here. Yeah, it's fun stuff. Okay, right back at entry. Not much for me to do on this one, guys, while we're hanging out watching this one play out. No management to the downside. This comes down. It's just going to be a clean stop out for $1,000. Sitting green. Right now, I'm happy to give that back in the pursuit of some larger profits. Looking to challenge myself to continue trading on green days. To the upside, I'm going to look to manage around that 6,000. I don't think this would be a really big risk to reward trade for me. I'd have to watch what happens if we climb back to that 6,000 level. Only thing I would do in between is if we started to have some wild stuff happen on bookmap, a whole lot changed up. Maybe if we had orders up above start to get pulled from the book, I might exercise some additional caution there. Or if I have platform or connection issues, I don't know, Jen, maybe you can find similarity in this. I don't know what it is. As soon as things start to go wrong, like connection-wise, bookmap fails, I give back all of my profit and then some. I tend to just, I tend to just get pissed off. I start trading from my phone. So,
oh gosh.
Yeah. So
I did that once. Never again.
Yeah, no. And whenever I have, that's my hard rule nowadays. Whenever I have something that really starts to go sideways, something that's getting messed up, like platform-wise, connection-wise, I do my best to just clip it. Close the trade. If I have to watch it run, I watch it run. That's it. So
I'm not liking what I'm seeing right now, actually. I'm considering
trimming this one.
I'm considering closing early.
Tell us why, Jen. Tell us why. Give us the rundown.
Well, we pushed up over the EMAs and we got it closed right above them and then got a little continuation, but immediately rejected down. And now that last 5-minute candle closed below the opening print and below the EMAs. So it's really looking like my short setup wants to play out. Also, my confluences are all starting to kind of push back down. And I mean, I don't know. It's just really, it wasn't an A+ for me.
Gotcha.
It was probably, which is why, I mean, I only have 3 micros on. I'm sized down because it wasn't fully there. But we might still get a push up right here. If we can push back up right now over that opening print again, and break the top of that last 5-minute wick, which it looks like we might want to do, I will keep it on.
Here's my play on this one. I'm gonna go stop to break even. I'm gonna go stop to break even on this. I'm choking up on it pretty tightly. 2 reasons. We got liquidity coming off the book, down around where I felt we might pull back. We are coming right into an area of liquidity here, right at 995. This first big area. I think we're either gonna push through here or we're gonna harshly reject.
Yeah.
I want to see a continuation now to the upside, and again, maybe look to manage around that 6,000 level. Here we go. We're going to try it. Yeah, we got like 200 on the book. We could get some fed in here. Again, it's just my reading of order flow and kind of the dumb way that I do it. There we go. We're trying it.
Here we go.
We're trying it.
Okay.
Starting to get a pop there. Not looking bad.
A lot better, that's for sure.
Yeah. So let's see. Again, guys, I'm looking towards the 6,000s on this. I might look to manage this quickly and just snag a quick profit. Again, my trade management talked about getting more mechanical with it. Yeah, I'm supposed to be at about 4.5. So I'm going to trail this. I'm going to trail this really tightly. Oh, not what I want to do. Trail this really tightly now that we came, close to what would be typically a 1-to-1 on 10 points. Am I enough in profit here? 4.25, 4.75. Yeah, we're in a good spot. I'm going to trail this really tightly. I want to either see a continuation or get trailed out here for small $250 winner. I would love to see us go right towards that 6,000 level, but that's my play on this one.
Order filled.
There we go. I'm out for a small $250 win.
Let's go.
I'm
still in it. We're right at my entry point right now, actually. Like, I'm back at entry and things are starting to reject. So I'm trying to decide if I'm keeping it on.
Okay. Does your trade management, and again, don't be distracted. You're in a trade. I try to always tell everybody, like, I'll yap everybody's ear off and, we'll ask questions. So pay attention whenever you have to pay attention. Does your trade management allow you to cut a trade early if you don't like what you're seeing? Does it allow
Absolutely.
you to?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I like that. So it's discretionary to a piece with trade management based on what's happening on the chart, right? You see like harsh rejections, you don't get through. You'll say, hey, I'm out of this one.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm moving my stop to break right above break even. Back in profit here. If we can break this. I think we're gonna keep going.
Yeah, I think we could see it. I think we could definitely see the pop again. So sellers had a chance to take it lower. We came back, broke and retested VWAP. Here we are all the way back up, challenging the overnight high level. Are we just going to turn on a dime and sell off? Like, I wouldn't be super normal price action. Anything can happen, of course. It's the market, especially with what we've been seeing lately. But this looks like we want to blast off.
Yeah.
That looks like a harsh rejection on news and look like we want to continue. Only thing I did differently on that one, chat, for those of you that are on here every damn day watching me, was I started real wide. I ran one mini into that one, not 2 or 3. I'm getting ready to start running 3. But trade management was drag into profit as we're approaching that, plus 10 points past the halfway mark. Let's see it.
I have my first trim set at 21,760.
Take a look at NQ for Jen here.
21,759.75 actually, to be exact. But and my stops at entry just because I don't love what I'm seeing on my confluence.
Sure.
So that's why I moved my stop back to entry. There's I almost just got stopped out, like literally by a tick.
Close here. Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with getting in a risk-free trade, right? Especially if you're starting to not see what you want to see. I think it comes down to like, so your entry's close here, right? In the 30s.
Oh, yep. I just got stopped out. Hey, I made $2.28. So green is green.
Chat, we got W's in the chat. Jen pulled up $2. I pulled up $250 on $1,000 worth of risk. Neither are making these amazing trades. But guess what? We're coming out green. We're managing risk to the downside. That's the deal.
I might re-enter this. Yeah, of course. Of course that would happen, right? Like it stops me out at my entry, and then now we're gonna run. There it goes.
Yeah, and NQ's wiki. Here's my thought on this topic, right? And the way that I try to manage it. Tracking your trades to the best of your abilities, or just going back and reviewing and what's happening slightly more often than not, right? And if you find yourself getting stopped to break even and it runs in profit slightly more often than you get stopped to break even and it runs to take profit, it runs to stop loss, maybe it begs the question, should we not go stop loss to break even? But
Right.
it's difficult because it takes a large sample size to really get a good feel for it. Because I'll have like 3 days in a row where I'm stopped to break even and it rockets to the moon, and then of course you have that recency bias, quick change it up, and then you go, I'm not going to go stop loss to break even, and that's the one that comes all the way back to stop loss.
Always.
So
Always.
always. So
Always.
it's the big sample size thing. It's the big sample size. But guess what, guys? We are Oh wow, a lot of W's in the chat. I wasn't actually asking for that, but we are over the 75 likes. Form is gonna drop in the chat. Get this one filled out, guys, and you will have a chance to win. Let's get it going. A straight to funded 50K account. You guys have been awesome in here today. We got a bunch of people on the stream. Hell yeah. Form is pinned. I'm going to throw it on my screen again. Form is pinned right there, guys. Share to.
All right.
Looking at trying this one long again, Jen?
I'm thinking about it. I'm watching NVIDIA approach its 20, kind of see how it behaves there. This is definitely more of a trade. So I trade Andrew's style definitely, but this reversal is more of something it's my own tweak, my own sauce.
Yeah.
Per se. I'll enter a little earlier than he would. So I'm like, I hear his voice in the back of my head, like, Jen, should you really be in this trade? But I really think we're going to at least go test the high a day from here.
Yep.
So I don't like the Apple's trying to break back below its 9. So of course, days like today where Apple and NVIDIA are just kind of moving in opposite directions all day are days that aren't my favorite.
I got you.
Because you kind of gotta, when you're in my position, I kind of have to choose, okay, who do I think is gonna be truly like leading? And then it comes down to looking at the other tickers and saying, okay, how many are with Apple, how many are with NVIDIA, and do we have a setup that I have conviction in?
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I think it can be a powerful move to look at those underlying assets, to look at the Mag 7, maybe to watch NQ, YM, ES, maybe something else in correlation. We had Christian on who watches the VIX. I myself could never, my mind just couldn't handle it. It was just too much information for whatever reason.
Totally.
And, I just had to simplify to a point and use tools that make sense. But for anybody listening, I think that could be a very powerful play. I'm really raw with price action and just pattern recognition in the tools that I use. But I think there's a lot of juice there, right? If you're watching stuff just go back and forth opposite directions, like how often does that turn into a beautiful trend day when we're getting no alignment across any of the underlying assets, right? I'm assuming that that's probably not going to be a beautiful clean trend day. But I've listened to a couple traders that do trade like large caps, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're going to watch 15 at a time, the big ones, and wait for alignment across them. Maybe look for one that's leading, look for one that's lagging, and utilize that. So I think it's cool. I think if you can handle it, more power to you. I got to keep things real simple.
Yeah. Well, we just hit almost 1 point away from my original trim level if I would have stayed in, but I'm not mad at that. I honestly am not frustrated with that trade management because I think it's easy when price does what you thought it was going to do to sit there and justify and be like, see, I'm right. I would have been right and be frustrated, but I also could have been wrong. And just as easily we could have turned around. I know that, you had conviction that price is going to keep going up, but what I'm seeing across the board is honestly a struggle and a lot of chop. And until we truly, at this point for me, until we break out of either the top of the 15-minute range or we break back below like 21,700, I think we're kind of chilling, you know.
Yep.
Like it's never a good feeling either for me trading NQ to be in a trade and just watch it slowly grind up. Like those aren't the trades I want to be in.
Yeah. Again, you want that nice continuation. You want that immediate push.
Yeah, the momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Again, for me, I'm gonna have to watch this one play out. Right, stopped in profit as we're consolidating, but I would agree. We got IB high and low set now. I've kind of come back to initial balance high and low a little bit. I've had a lot of volume profile stuff overlaying my chart, but I'd say it looks like we want to try to break out to the upside until we get above the 6,000 level and actually hold above that. I'm not looking for another long play out of this. You know, we're struggling here to continue. Let me just reset my VWAP on this. Struggling to continue here so far. I think we could pull back. I think we come check back out VWAP. And, you know, for the most part, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting risk-free on a trade, going stop loss to break even. For me, what I do personally, right? I always try to talk in terms of what works for me when it works for me, is to just try to review. And again, like trade management is one of those things. It's so hard, but in a large sample size, out of the last 30 trades, if I went stop loss to break even, how many times was I stopped and then it ripped in my direction versus how many times did I save myself a full stop out? And if you're doing something that helps you in the long run over a large sample size, keep doing it. If it's hurting you or there's something different to be done there where you say, hey, the way that I enter, the way that I'm trading, I got to give these things room to breathe. I'm going to have to take some full stop outs on the way to letting these bad boys run as we're watching this thing pull back right here. Yeah, this is dicey. Yeah, so we came up on ES. We did fill the 95s. We had quite a bit. Yeah, we're still running like, and I'm starting to pay attention more to this. Chat start to hear me talk about this. Cumulative volume delta. Still running a really negative CVD. Wow, aggressive back to VWAP here. Yeah.
I mean, if you zoom out, we chopped all night. Compared to how it's been, like it was a very consolidated overnight session. I feel like the overnight sessions have had a ton of movement recently. Yep. And it really, this morning we opened, pushed up, took out the overnight high, pushed down, took out the overnight low, and now we're just hanging out in the middle. So to me, like at this point, I don't see a trade until honestly we break out of above that 21,795, let's call it 21,800.
Yeah.
Or below the low of day, 21,635. Like I want to see us get out of all of the chop.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I had somebody asking to show bookmap because I talk about it. I got to find a faster way to do it, but there we go. Yeah, no, I agree. This is choppy. Right now we're just back and forth. Could be bullish, right? We tried to test it. We're pulling back off towards VWAP. We come back through these highs in ES and crack through the 6,000s. I think that would look pretty good. You come back towards, the highs on NQ. I'd say the same, but until then, kind of choppy. Chat, I see you guys throwing a whole bunch of stuff in here. Now that was the short order form filled. Awesome. Can you show bookmap? Yeah, we're gonna look at bookmap in just a second. Thanks for introducing me to top one. Received 2 payouts. I'm on track for 2 more. Killing it. Well done.
Let's go.
Very well done. Awesome. Very well done. Congrats. Awesome. Yeah, guys, giveaways are random. I see people saying please and it's been 10 minutes. Stop accepting forms. We're almost there, guys. I'm going to cut it off in about, I'm going to give you guys another 2 minutes while we're hanging out. Listen, I'm making it easy on likes. I'm leaving the form up. I'm being nice to you guys. Be nice to everybody else that didn't get a chance to jump in. And I didn't post it anywhere outside.
Do I get to enter the giveaway? Just kidding.
I don't know. We'll have to do a separate for guests that come on.
I'm
just joking. Yeah. Watching this on bookmap real quick, guys, before I cut this form off and we do the giveaway. Here's what I was looking at as we started. So I'm long here. As we started to come up to the upside, we had 95s, right? And we had the 6,000s. These are sell orders on the book, liquidity above price. What happens when we get there? Out for debate, right? Do they stay on? Is it spoofing? Is it liquidity? But here's what my pattern recognition tells me. We're likely to come up and try to fill these. We might find a lot of difficulty getting through them, right? Especially up here when we've got large stacks at, just back-to-back price levels. We came up, filled this. We actually had a lot of buyers and sellers get involved here as we started to fill. You could see we had sellers continuing to come on this area, and that really started to drive prices lower. Looks like we still want to make a run at these 6,000s. But again, if I have a really prominent level that I'm trading towards on the book, I'm cautious because I think we might see a rejection or at least some hesitation, at least some pullback. Maybe we blast right through and just take off through the moon. But it's the same reason I was looking short at the beginning of the day as we came up towards this level if we filled this for an initial rejection back down towards VWAP. But for the people asking for bookmap, that's what we're looking at. Link is down in the description. Fair warning, I'm partnered and affiliated with bookmap. Can't stand to be unbiased if I'm partnered and I stand to make money. Let's jump back to the main screen. And we'll run this giveaway, guys, since we're all so good. All right, guys, let's go ahead and close this form out. We got a bunch of you that responded. Awesome. We got 82 responses on this one. This is a good stream, Jen. I think the people like this one. This was great. We got 85 people hanging out on stream, 82 likes. Congrats, guys. Congrats, Kyrie. There we go. That's what everybody's saying. Let's see. Oh no, we lost Jen. Jen dropped off. That's okay, guys. We're still gonna get the giveaway rolling here. Maybe we'll get Jen that jumps back on here in just a minute. Let's see if we can't get this one rolling. Form is closed. We are no longer accepting responses. We got the random number generator coming up, guys. If you are here in the chat, let me know what number you think is about to come out. What number do we have coming out? Give me your lucky number. We are giving away a straight to funded, instant funded account with Top 1 Futures. Let's see. We got 37, 29, 11, 27. What do we got going on? Let's see, guys. Jen's back in action here.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
No, all good, all good. We're coming into the end of this one for sure. We got 2 trades on, guys, 2 W's, small ones, but coming out green, both of us here. I am getting a random number selector loaded up for you guys. Everybody's throwing their lucky numbers in the chat. We are going to go with, let's see. Try not to dox anybody when I do these. Give away your home address. No. We got numbers 2 through 83. Let's see what we get. Random number generator says 38. Ooh, nice middle ground today. We had like a 7 and a 60 something. So number 38, the winner is, again, guys, these are random. I know I always get accused of picking my friends, picking people the same time. These are 100% random. I take screenshots. This way, I'm not picking my friends. Winner of today's number 38 is Chuck G. Congrats, Chuck G. You are the winner of a 50K instant funded Top 1 Futures account. You're funded. You will get, you'll get an email from Top 1 on this one. Congratulations, everybody in the chat. Throw my man Chuck a congrats. We got a bunch of people that hopped on late. If you're hopping on late here, guys, we just did the 50K giveaway. I got one to give away every day this week. I'm going to show you this screen. We have Jen, who was on this stream, taking some trades, giving some sauce, right? It's been awesome.
Make
we got
$6.
What's that?
I made $6 across my 3 funded. So
I mean, I usually say it's enough for Chipotle, but we might have to.
I couldn't even buy extra guac with that. I don't think.
No, but managed it well, right? We pulled back really aggressively on this one. Did NQ do the same as ES? Did we pull back really aggressively on NQ?
Yeah, we're back breaking below the opening range, the 15-minute opening range. Honestly, like looking at what just happened, I'm really proud of how I managed that trade because I mean, we did almost hit my profit target, but I set limit orders for my profit targets. And so we missed it by a point and then we pulled back and I would have been stopped at break even anyway.
There you go.
So, I mean, yeah, I missed out on whatever, the $150. Not even. I would have made like $60 maybe.
Yeah. No, and that's
on that one contract that didn't hit, so.
Yeah. That speed is just.
I think if I can make a prediction, I think that we're going to end up breaking to the downside.
Ooh, think we're coming back down and taking everybody out that was getting long?
Yeah, I mean, everything's kind of grinding down right now across the board. So if we can break down, like Apple and Nvidia are finally starting to move in the same direction. Apple's breaking below its 20 right now for the first time since we opened, which to me is showing some bearish signs. So who knows? I don't have the crystal ball, but if I had to guess, you know.
Yeah, this if I'm not gonna I don't know if that I'm gonna go break to the downside, but I could go a frustrating one more fake out where we go take out liquidity to the upside, get everybody long, crack like the 6,000s by 5-10 points, and then pull back in and kind of chop. I feel like we had an opportunity to run the highs a handful of times. Buyers are just not showing strength, at least yet. And we're kind of getting this difficult to work with choppy session. Another really, really objectively choppy New York session. Back and forth through VWAP, and here we are on ES sitting dead set at VWAP again. So coming out green or break even, I think, on days like this is solid. But guys, before you hop off, I see some people hopping on, hopping off. Smash like, smash subscribe. We're here live every day, 9:30 a.m. More guests coming on. Account giveaways every day this week, and a special cash bonus giveaway on Friday if you hit every form. Before we get ready to wrap up, Jen, this was awesome. Thanks for hopping on and doing this one. This was great. Hopefully we get you back on. Tell the people where they could find you again across socials.
So I'm just on Instagram. I actually am also on X, but I'm not active on there. I opened it up and saw the middle school behavior in the trading community. And I was like, this is not for me. Like, I'm a mom in my 30s. I'm good without the drama. But yeah, I'm on Instagram at jen.ketter, just like it says at the banner on the bottom. And hopefully going to be starting some YouTube stuff myself soon. Probably no live streaming because I'm a nervous Nelly, as probably all of you could tell. But definitely some content. And yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is my first time ever being on a live stream, so I appreciate it. You made it super easy and low key, and I'm super happy I came on. So
awesome. No, I think you did fantastic. Listen, this is trading live. It's hard enough just to trade, so to come and throw a camera in your face and have to talk through trades and answer questions, it's tough. So chat saying thanks, Zach and Jen. We will have Jen on again, chat. Make sure you follow her, jen.ketter, on socials. IG primarily. She's going to stay out of the cesspool of Twitter that I think most of us should, because I do the same thing. It's just too much. But yeah, this was great. We'll have you back on soon. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, chat. Smash like, smash subscribe. See you guys tomorrow. Quick disclaimer. Remember, I'm going to throw this one up for you guys one more time. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Trading's risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm an idiot here yapping on YouTube for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, bookmap that we were talking about today, code RDF. I can't be unbiased if I stand to make money. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jen. Talk to you all soon. See you guys live tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern.